Welcome to Juhl Media. My name is Ching Juhl. This is the live interview podcast. Hello, how are you? Today, my special guest is Bruce Nelson, filmmaker, producer. Let's welcome Bruce. Hi, Bruce.
Hey, great to be here.
Great to be here.
Great to see you. How are you?
Hey, the weather was fine. I'm
Hey,
doing
the
great
weather
over
was
here in
fine. I'm
Arizona.
doing great over here in Arizona.
Well, you're in Arizona. I'm jealous. I used to live there.
Come on
That's
back.
nice.
Come on back.
Yeah, I need to go back. Now I have reasons. Yeah. Thank you so much for talking with me today. Yeah. So tell us a little bit about do you remember how we met? How you ended up in here with me talking?
We have a
We
mutual
have a
filmmaker friend.
filmmaker friend.
Right.
And so
Right.
he reached out to me and said, hey, this is a wonderful lady. You should be on her show. What are you doing,
What are you doing?
Wednesday? I'm like, hey, I'll work it out.
I'll work it out.
Thank you so much. That's Peter Cosby. Yeah, Peter's a great friend. So thank you so much, Bruce. Now, I'm very impressed by your work, and it's like you're nonstop. You have been working on so many different projects and one after another. And tell us a little bit about latest work you have done. And you were in a exotic place and shooting the film. Tell us about.
Yes, we just got
Yes,
back from
we just got back
Indonesia.
from Indonesia.
Nice.
We left February 15th and we came back on the 22nd, no, 23rd.
Yeah.
And it's called
Cool.
See Jane Run, an Indo-American story.
So tell us
It's a
a little
wonderful
bit.
lady.
Yeah,
She's
if you would.
She's written this book about her life story, and Indo is a combination of Indonesian and Dutch. And they were really terribly abused during World War II. The Dutch came over and they just were so mean to them and tortured them. And she is a product of that. She's written a book and we're telling her story. So we were there filming. We went to a museum. I think we have a clip from our trip there that we're going to show. We went to a cemetery where we think one of her aunts is buried. We went to a university and did some discussion with some people. We spoke to historians. We were in Jakarta, Jakarta. It was just an amazing time. It's beautiful. It was hot and sweaty and humid.
Is it really
But the
hot
food
there,
was
right?
great. Oh,
Yes.
yes.
Yeah. So
The
what is
food
like
was amazing.
Indonesian? What is Indonesian food like? Compared to anything we know?
You know, it reminds me of Creole Cajun food. It's really spicy. A lot of fish dishes, greens, a lot of different greens. Of course, a lot of rice. But it was just, I had to tell them not so spicy for me.
Wow, take it easy, take it easy. So shall we see the do you call this a trailer or do you call this let's see.
This is some footage that we shot and just we're putting it out there to let people know we're doing the film. I think you'll enjoy it.
Okay. All right. It's this one, I believe. Okay, let's see. Tell me if it's the right one, okay?
That's it.
Right? Okay. All right.
Ini adalah cerita tentang Jane Vogelmantiri, seorang wanita campuran Indonesia dan Belanda. Dia lahir di Jakarta dan hidup di masa yang sulit setelah Indonesia merdeka. Waktu itu, orang non-pribumi sering didiskriminasi. Jane pun harus pindah ke Belanda karena suasana yang tidak kondusif. Meski sudah pindah ke Belanda, kehidupan Jane tidak serta-merta menjadi lebih mudah. Di Belanda, dia masih diperlakukan berbeda, dan akhirnya memutuskan pindah ke Amerika Serikat. Namun, di Amerika dia belum juga terbebas dari diskriminasi. Bahkan, Jane masih dibayangi oleh trauma masa revolusi di Indonesia. Walaupun begitu, Jane tetap bangga dengan identitasnya sebagai keturunan campuran Indonesia Belanda. Hal ini diceritakan langsung oleh Jane dalam diskusi sejarah, Di Manakah Rumah? Cerita tentang kehidupan orang Indo setelah Perang Dunia Kedua, dari Jane Vogel Mantiri, yang diselenggarakan komunitas Malam Museum.
So tell us a little bit what they talking about, what the film was narrating about.
So they're talking about C. Jane Run, and they were just saying, she was in back home, because that's where she's from. And we're telling her story, and we were walking to the streets and just sort of remembering when she was a child walking into Georgia, and then talking to some university students. She did a lecture there, and then we visit a museum where they have a section about the Indo Project and the Dutch and their influence over there. So there was a group of people put that together, and they the translation in Indonesian that thing works very, very well. We're very excited about this.
So is the shooting done or still have more to go?
We're finished with the Indonesian shoot. Now we've got to go back to Portland. Jane is from Portland.
I see.
So we're going to go back and do a recap. And we're thinking of going to Long Beach. They have a Indo festival coming up. And we want to go and talk to a historian about it, get their perspective on how they treated those folks. So we're starting post anyway. We're starting looking at the footage. We're going to have a trailer pretty soon. And the artwork is almost done. We're going to have 3 different posters. We'll have a press kit pretty soon. So we're getting pretty excited about it.
That's great. So is this a feature or it's a short?
This will be a feature. That's kind of the thinking, but as we look at the footage, it may end up being a series of 3 parts.
I see.
Because now I want to go to the Netherlands and talk about that piece of it. So we'll see.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit more about how your journey became independent filmmaker and curator, publisher, and where all these artistic talent came from. Were you always very artsy when you were young, or your family member does similar work? Where does it came from?
I'm really an actor by training. I studied Chekhov and I studied Shakespeare, and I worked for many years as an actor, doing a lot of theater, some film. I grew up in the segregated community here in Arizona. And so when our city was under siege to destroy the community, I thought it's probably time to do some kind of documentary so people remember that we're here. So I create documentaries and exhibits, and they're at libraries, they're at pop-up spaces, they're at museums. And I've been an actor since the 70s. Oh.
Wow. But when I lived Phoenix, that was 90. It seems very white, the area where I live, or the central Phoenix. Is it the same thing always?
Yeah, the black population is about 8 or 9%. So we don't have a lot of folks here, but they're powerful and they do some wonderful things. And, we have some great sports teams here. We just have a new tax incentive for filmmaking, which kicked off this year.
Oh, you mean like they call what? Incentive? Tax incentive? What do they call that?
Yeah, it's a tax credit. So when you come in, depending on your budget, you give this tax credit. There's some conditions. You have to hire a certain amount of local talent
Mm.
and use some production companies here in town, but you get a nice tax rebate at the end of it.
Oh, that's great. So that's a way of stimulating the economy in the city, right? Encourage people come to shoot films, making films, right?
Absolutely. And remember, Arizona, we have more sunny days than any other state.
Right. That's true.
And you can go just 2 hours away, you can go up to the north in the green and there's snow. And then 2 hours you can be out of that. So that's really a real cosmopolitan looking city. We got the Western look. We got an urban look. So we're really fortunate with different types of locations that people can film at.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's wonderful. So you say so your artistic sort of movement first came from being an actor, and then segue, I guess, to being a producer, right? Filmmaker. And yeah.
Yeah, I was an actor for a long time. I danced for about 15 years.
Wow, that was awesome.
Yeah,
Wow.
I was in. I studied in Toronto. My teachers were from Alvin Ailey Dance Theater.
Oh, we just actually in my neighborhood had a performance of an alien's students did a dance presentation. Yeah. Do you happen to know a African American dancer choreographer named Elio Pomaro? Elio Pomaro.
No, I don't think so.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. All right.
But the company I danced with in Los Angeles, Washington Dance Theater. They're one of the prominent companies. And Jazz Antiqua, another company I danced with. And then Karen McDonald, New Dancers, New Age Dancers. I danced with them, doing some wonderful work. And they're still around. They're still doing work. More modern jazz companies.
So you're a modern dancer.
Modern jazz, yeah. Modern jazz, modern. Some African.
Uh-huh.
I did not do tap though.
Oh yeah? You did or you did not?
Ballet, yeah, you gotta take ballet always.
Oh, that's the like a basics, right? Like
Yeah, you
the
gotta
foundation.
take the basics.
Yeah.
So I danced for a long time, and I did a lot of theater. I did some films. Some of the films out there. Let me see. Raising Buchanan. There's an action film I did called No Code of Conduct.
Oh.
I play a bad guy. Play opposite Charlie Sheen.
Yeah. Your voice is so good. I was like, wow, you have like a voiceover, actress voice. Very
Thanks.
very combination of a tenor and bass kind of like
Yeah.
like strong.
that Shakespeare Chekhov training.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So
So
yeah, go ahead. I hear something. Some noise.
but working in that field, I really enjoyed it. I'm a big fan of poetry. I love Langston Hughes. I just created a show called Shades of Blue Jazz. It's all poetry, mostly by Langston Hughes, and we present it with 4 actors, and we have a great time with some music underneath it, some vocals in the background. We're going to round it again this summer here in Arizona, so I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah. Well, I need to introduce you to someone also from Arizona. She is a filmmaker. She's a videographer from Flagstaff. Yeah, Cheryl Lee Francis. Very artistic, very beautiful person. She's a indigenous person. Arizona.
Great. I'd love to meet her. I always want to meet more folks in town that are doing stuff. So let me,
Yeah,
give
yeah.
my
I
contact
will, I
information.
will introduce you to her. Yeah, yeah. And she's one of my favorite person. I don't know if you do Clubhouse. I met so many beautiful people on Clubhouse. She's one of them. Yeah. So anyway, let's talk about you. You want to tell us a little bit about your curation about different community work and yeah, in that space. Tell us a little bit about your work.
Currently, I have an exhibit that's on display at the junior college here, Mason Community College. It's called Matriarchs of Washington Park,
Mm-hmm.
the women who persevered through racism in the segregated community. And this afternoon, we're doing the reception. And the local congressman came out yesterday to view it, and the councilman will be there today. And I just really want to highlight the women from my community. And so it's for Black History Month, but then it closes April the 1st.
Mm.
And so March is Women's History Month.
March? Oh, the
So-
women history. Okay. Now today
So
is
the Black History, now we're doing Women's History Month.
Mm-hmm. Right. You Black people are taking over the world.
Black people and women. Black people and women.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah.
And that one, I'm going to produce a documentary as well about the matriarchs.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm working on that. We'll probably done a couple of interviews and doing a fundraiser today to get some more money for that. But that one will be great. So I always want to highlight, Black and brown and indigenous people,
Mm-hmm.
because those stories, they just don't get told.
Right. Not enough. Right. Not enough. Yeah. And do you feel throughout the last say 30 years the prejudice is getting reduced in terms of the community of Black people not getting enough attention or not being sort of just what do you call ignored or being what should I say, people just look at you and still do not treat you fair enough. Do you feel the last 30 years is getting better or not?
Oh, that's a loaded question.
Sorry. Yeah. So overall, is it better in terms of the voices being heard, the Black people's voice are being heard?
There are areas that made huge improvements. I mean, think about it. We had the first African American president. That was huge. That's like, I would have never thought that would have happened in my lifetime. And so now we have an African American female vice president. I never thought I'd see that.
Mm.
That's like incredible. So we made some gains, but seems like as we make more progress, people start trying to pull us back. And so I'm happy with the gains, but I'm sad that there's a collective of people that feel threatened for some reason.
Mm.
And so we just got to keep pushing. And I always include Black and brown and indigenous people because we have the same struggle.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And coming out of the pandemic, we saw a real attack on the Asian community coming from 45 saying some awful things.
Yeah.
And so now we all need to come together and say, look, we're in this together, Black and brown and indigenous. We need to speak with one voice. So we have made some improvements, definitely.
Mm-hmm.
But we have some setbacks too.
Yeah. That's so well said. It certainly, from Obama being president now, Pamela Harris as a vice president. We never expected that kind of a progression. Was moving. I actually lately listened to the entire book by Michelle Obama. Uh, it's very very inspiring. Yeah, she told us so many stories about the progress, also the life in White House, and how she met Obama, and it's fascinating, fascinating. Yeah. So now you just worked on the film in Indonesia, and then you also have been working on so many, and you worked on so many different things. Like one of them is you got a Telly Award for your first short film, Tales of Tobacco. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
That was I was living in LA, and I was the artistic director for educational theater program, and I would write and direct plays. And so I wrote a play about tobacco smoking, and so we put all these different characters in it, and it toured throughout LA County at alternative schools and middle school age. That was targeted 6th, 7th, 8th graders. And the kids just loved it. They loved the characters. They had so much fun. We did a takeoff on Mr. Rogers' neighborhood called Mr. Roscoe's neighborhood, where he has all these friends come in, they're smoking and struggling with lung disease and heart disease. And the play did very, very, very well. And when I came to Arizona, I wrote a grant and got a small grant, and I said, well, let me turn this into a short film. And we called it Tales of Tobacco. And so we have Mr. Roscoe's neighborhood. We had Bo Camel. We called him Joe Camel. He was the guy smoking Camel cigarettes. And we shot it in one day. And we got it out there into the world. And we got a Telly Award, which I was completely surprised. And then we sent it to a few festivals, and we got in about 10 festivals. And then we did a licensing deal with a couple of school systems, and they played it for a while. It was my first sort of short documentary kind of film. But it did really, really well. I'm really proud of that. We put together a group called, there was a character called Joe Campbell back in the 90s, and we called him Bo Campbell. And I had these couple rappers come, and they did a rap about Bo Campbell and smoking and how he started, how he struggled with it. And so it's an older film, but it did well. We had about 10 festivals, won a couple of awards. I might bring it back, revise it, maybe edit it, add some new stuff. But yeah, that was the first one out of the gate. I thought was kind of interesting.
That's fun. Now, out of a lot of the film works you have done, are they mostly documentaries, or you also do script?
I have one scripted film. It's a short. It's called Raglan Tales. And it's loosely based on true events. And that one, we got into, I think, 20 festivals. We won an award. And then we got a distribution deal with, I think it's called the Hollywood Black Resource Center. They had it on their site for about 2 years. And then there was a guy that had a Roku station. I think he called it Cheap Flicks. And he ran it for 2 years. And so that was a short narrative. It's about 14 minutes. And I've been looking at that again, and I'm thinking I'm going to do a collection of those short films called Raglan Tales. They're loosely based on my experience growing up in the 60s in the segregated community. So I've written 2 other scripts.
When you say Redland, is it a place?
That's my grandmother's name, Raglan.
Oh, okay. Raglan.
So I thought it would honor her.
Raglan. Raglan. Okay, Raglan. Yeah.
Yes.
Cool.
So there's going to be a collection of 6. And the next script I've gotten written, I need to do some rewrites. It's called The Corner Store.
Corner store.
And me and my buddies, when we were younger, like 10, 11, would play cards and eat grapefruits and oranges, with a lot of citrus in it. And we would just laugh and tell jokes. And they would talk about how they would, take stuff from the corner store without paying for it. We used to, just go through the neighborhood and just raise hell. There's about six of us. Just getting in trouble.
Yeah, yeah. Troublemaker. Yeah. So in your experience of filmmaking, whether as an actor or producer or any other roles, do you so tell us a little bit which role is the most demanding and difficult for you as a filmmaker?
That's a good question. I think producing is the hardest because you've got to find the money. The ideas are fun. Directing is fun. Producing is like, okay, where do you find the money? You got to find the locations. You got to find the crew, and you got to figure out how to make it for as less money as possible, and make a good product. So producing is the most challenging. I'm getting better at it. Getting better at fundraising, grant writing, making deals with people.
Yeah.
Producing is it's tough. I produce for some other folks. That's a little easier. But that producer hat, that's a tough one.
Yeah, raise money for yourself or for your own project. It is much harder, huh? Yeah. I also find like I sometimes represent artists, and it's much easier for me to say, oh, he or she is great, rather than I am great. Right? So when you you represent somebody else, you can be shameless and you don't feel too bad, But I cannot say, I'm the best thing, please buy me.
Yeah, it's hard to be objective when you're talking about your own stuff.
Yeah, yeah. And it's kind of weird to talk about, how great you are, yourselves, right? Although you're great, but you're still kind of a little shy to tell people you are the greatest thing, So anyway, that's why people hire manager, right? And manager or publicist, right? That's how they make a lot of money. Right? Yeah. And now, do you find a challenge as well once you finish your film, once even your film is on the platform of distribution, and you still have to work towards the publicize, right, and marketing of that? It's like a nonstop. How do you deal with that?
Yeah, that's a producer. So you try to make those early in production. I'm talking to people. I have a nice little pitch deck and some nice artwork, a trailer, and I'm out there before we even finish the film. Talking to different streaming platforms, talking to sales reps. Say, hey, this film is going to be great. We're almost done. It is better. I'm really looking at the educational piece, university licensing. I'm finding that a really good channel for my projects. Everybody wants to be on Netflix. Netflix, that's a tough nut to crack. And those deals aren't always as great as people think. I've talked to a couple of filmmakers who've gotten on there, and it's not as great as you think it is.
Yeah, you maybe just get notoriety. Most important for some of the filmmaker, right? You don't really make that much money on Netflix. Even quasi famous people, they say. But it is like very visible, right? Like when I have time, when I get tired, when I don't know, it's like it's so easy for me just turn on Netflix and look for things to watch, right? So that is just a platform for many people is the most, I think is Netflix is most watched platform. What do you say?
Yeah, Prime is becoming pretty good, but you're right. I mean, when you're in production or pre-production or in development, I'm thinking about distribution. Before we even shoot, when we're developing the idea, I'm thinking about, who is my audience? How am I going to get in touch with them? Collecting emails and doing streaming. Times when I'm doing. I love libraries. I can do there. I get corporate sponsors. I showed my document Northtown at some universities. I'm going down to Tucson with a group in March. So I'm looking at those different alternative ways to get distribution that still return some money. Conferences are really great places for documentaries. Depends on what their focus is. If the documentary fits, that's really great. So always thinking, the moment I have an idea, I'm thinking, who is my audience? How am I going to reach?
Awesome. Should we play the Northern Town, the trailer?
Yeah, let's play the trailer for Northtown. We just came back from. We were at Hollywood Man Chinese Theater in the fall, where they have the Oscars. We were there. The film was there.
Oh, wonderful. Yeah. No. Okay. Do you want to give us a little intro, or should we just watch it and then we talk about?
So this is talking about the segregated community we went in, that I grew up in. And let's watch it, and I can tell you the journey making that.
Okay. All right. Mute yourself.
We recount a part of American history that has been largely forgotten and overlooked. For several decades, the residents of Mesa, Arizona lived in a world apart.
Mesa is the kind of place where the rest of the world just sort of passes.
Because I didn't know much about the civil rights movement here in town. We couldn't eat in the restaurants.
The police stopped me one time, and the police asked me, what are you doing in this neighborhood? I said, hold on, I live in this neighborhood, I'm getting ready to go to work.
Despite the challenges they faced, the residents of this segregated neighborhood managed to build a community that was the home to respected leaders, renowned athletes, professionals, businessmen, and recognized educators. Join us as we hear from the residents themselves as they tell their memories of a time and place called Northtown, the heritage of a Black community.
Cool. Nice. Yeah. So tell us a little bit more about the project.
That project started with a small grant that I'd gotten from the local power company, and it was my first documentary. And I was hoping that I could get maybe 10 or 15 minutes. We had enough money to shoot for one day. And so I planned the day, a lot of things I wanted to do. I called a friend of mine, producer. She says, don't worry about paying me. This is important. You just need to pay the crew. And I had this whole thing set up, how I was going to do it. In the opening, we have a lady walking through the neighborhood singing. And I had these dancers doing stuff. And none of them showed up that day.
No. What happened?
They forgot. And so I called my cousin. I said, can you please come and sing this song? And she goes, yeah, I'm on my way. It was 7 o'clock in the morning. So she showed up, and that worked. We didn't get the dancers. And we had people coming to one location, interviewing them. And then we walked to the neighborhood, because I used to be a paper boy in the neighborhood. So pretty much everybody knew me. And we'd go to people's houses and say, hey, we're doing this documentary. We want to hear your story. And I remember there was a guy we called him Old Man Brown. he just ran me off. He's like, "Get the hell out of here! No, I don't want to talk to you." I'm like, "Mr. Brown, he was like 90 years old. I want to hear, before what was like growing up in these. Boy, I know your grandma." I said, "Yes, I know you know her. That's why I want to talk to you." And he was like, "You get the hell, no." He just ran us off. Okay. Then another lady, a friend of my mom's, we went to see her, Miss Ankie, and we got there, and she had curlers in her hair. And I said, "Miss Ankie," and she goes, "Oh, I know you, boy. I know you, Mama. How you doing, baby?" I said, "We're doing this documentary. We'd like to talk to you." She's like, "Oh, come on in. Come on in." So we set up, and we had a hard time keeping her seated because she wanted to feed everybody. She said, we got some greens over here. We just want to talk to you." She walked around. So we shot for one day. We shot from 6 a.m. till 8 o'clock at night.
Wow.
And I was like, "Oh, if I can get a 10 or 15-minute documentary out of this, I'll be happy." And I started doing more research, and I was like, "Wow, this is a bigger story than I thought." So I had to go raise some more money. And that was tough. That was the first time I did any fundraising. And I ran an ad in the newspaper. We were doing a screening of what we had so far. Wasn't very long. It was about 30 minutes, 40 minutes. And a lot of people showed up. But when we did the newspaper article ran, people got upset. They wrote in and they said, "What are you doing? Nobody wants to hear about you black people complaining. There's no problem in this city." And I was like, "Wow, what are you talking about? Just telling this story." Oh yeah, some people got hate mail.
Wow.
Really surprised me. I was like,
that was when? What era? Like
that was recently. We shot this in about 8 years ago. We shot this.
Oh no! Wow.
Yeah, it's not that long ago. About 8 years we shot this film. So we end up finishing it in it's 68 minutes.
Wow, that's long.
Yeah, and we had some challenges. At one point, the external hard drive I had crashed.
Where is the river? Let me jump in.
And I was like, "Oh my goodness!" And I called where I bought it. He goes, "Well, it's under warranty." "Oh, great! It's great." I said, "Because it crashed. We need." He goes, "Oh yeah, we'll give you a new one." And I said, "Well, I need the footage." And he goes, "Oh, we can recover it."
Really?
But it costs $2,000.
Are you serious? Oh my God.
I don't have $2,000.
Back up 3 times.
I know now.
Yeah. So anyway,
So we were
what
able
happened?
to find the original. We had the original. We're shooting on DVC, the mini disc. So we got those. We're like, okay, we got to download it on another drive, back it up. So we're able to recover everything that way. So now, whenever I'm shooting, I have 3 drives. I have 1 drive for me, 1 for the editor, and then a backup.
Yeah.
So we finally got it made.
Yeah.
We got it made, and we got out to the first festival was over in London. It was called the Sir Charles Darwin Film Festival. And the guy called me and goes, "Yeah, we like your film." He says, "We play in alternative spaces, like bars and bars." He goes, "So here's the way we do it. We turn the film on, and you watch the first 3 or 4 minutes, and if everybody likes it, you show the whole film. If they don't like it, you turn it off."
That's interesting. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. And
So I said, okay. So I was on the phone with him, because it's we're a day behind them. It was like 2 o'clock in the morning for me, and I was on the phone. I'm like, "Okay, what's going on?" Because we're getting ready to show it. He said, "We're playing it." He goes, "Wait." He goes, "Playing." I'm waiting on the phone. We're going to show it.
did I pass the 3 minutes? That's the craziest thing I've ever heard. but it's very democracy though, right?
So I was
Democratic.
happy they showed it.
Yeah.
They had it. They enjoyed it. I'm like,
Good.
oh, thank you.
So
So
this
that
must be
film
not
is
like
like
this must be not terribly like serious. Why would they want to show it in the bar? Like bar, like people drinking.
yeah. He said they want to bring films to where people wouldn't typically go.
Oh, okay.
Like they wouldn't
But
typically
the
see a
subject,
film.
but your subject is still kind of serious, right? It's not like a ha 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 ha.
Oh, no. But he's found an audience, and they come to the bars, and they like films, and they love dramas, they love comedies.
Yeah.
But it was a strange thing. Definitely strange.
Yeah, it is. But we want our work to be seen. So whatever is a creative way, right? And go for it. Right.
Yeah, the more people see it, the better.
Yeah. So what happened now? Where can we see it? Anywhere, like in the platform?
I'm getting ready to put it on some of the streaming places, maybe Tubi. I'm talking to them.
Mm.
There's another streaming channel in New York. Distributor reached out to me. We're negotiating. We might put it on Amazon. We'll see.
Mm.
You don't make as much money on Amazon. Though.
No, not much at all. I haven't been rich yet. It's been almost a year. My film is on Amazon since.
Yes, I'm going to watch it. I'm going to watch your film.
Please. Yeah.
Yes.
I think you'll like it. You'll like it. You'll appreciate it. Yeah.
Oh,
If
okay.
anyone but you will appreciate it. Yeah. So yeah, but the thing is, like I said, even the film is on Amazon, on Tubi, on many platform I can't even pronounce. Still, I feel it's not reaching enough out. So, and I don't know what to do. For me, my film, just very quickly, is about 2020 election, right? 2020 election. So I feel 2024 right now is the time people can echo with a similar situation, grassroots movement, how they support the candidate. But it seems like I have hard time to really crack into that thing, like letting people learn how to do it. You know what I mean? Because if people watch my film, they'll learn some skills, how to canvassing and how to support their candidate. Right now is the it's the moment. Right now is the moment. And I don't know what to do, It's like, I wish people would learn, Anyway, we'll talk.
Yeah.
But yeah. So
Well, I do a lot of with libraries and the universities. I do a licensing deal with them, and I have 2 licensing deals I just signed with here at Arizona University, and another one, and then I'm talking to the school system. So that's where it can generate better income than on Amazon. And then conferences. I've done like 5 conferences, and I'm going down to Tucson. A group is bringing me down there. They want to watch it. So I'm finding that that's better than those platforms because they pay you pennies.
Yeah.
And probably going to be on PBS. I'm working on getting on PBS.
What do you mean by conferences? Meaning, say somewhere have conferences, the conferences somewhat have the same, your film will fit into the conferences, right? And then to program in their conference,
Right.
how financially are you being compensated? Do they pay you because they play?
They
your
do.
film?
They pay you for the day. They bring you out, and they have budget for that.
Oh,
And it can be like, if it's a 4 or 5 day conference, it can be like a main event. They're going to watch this documentary and do a Q&A with the filmmaker,
oh.
and that can generate a nice little bit of change.
Well, that's good to know. Like how do you start to find them? Are they all your friends? Like,
I just Googled them. I Googled something, a conference dealing with racism or injustice, or like yours dealing with, voting, and you see conferences. They're doing that.
okay.
Oh, let me reach out to them. Here's the trailer. Here's the artwork. And they go, oh, that's a good fit for our conference. We would love that.
But then you have
So,
to be
yeah.
very organized, right, Bruce? That's not like you have to be like half year, 6 months before to plan that, right? I mean, it cannot be
Yes.
last minute,
Yes.
like I'm here, right? You have to
Yeah,
be more organized.
Yeah, you got to do your homework.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I will get things at the last minute. Somebody will heard about it. Go, hey, I'm sorry to call you so late. We're doing an event and we wanted to do celebrating Juneteenth and we want some kind of Black content. And so then I'll do a streaming. I'll give them a link. Here you can watch it. The link is good for 48 hours and then it goes away. And they'll pay that and all their staff will watch it. And then we'll do a Zoom and we'll talk about the film.
Mm.
So there's opportunities, and I think for your film, you're right. The timing is now.
Yeah.
We need to
Yeah.
talk.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. Yeah. Well, thank you so much. Anything else you want to add on? We supposed to wrap up soon. And do you have any other issues you wanted to mention?
My next project I'm in development. I'm excited about it.
Mm.
It's called Looking for Laura Nelson.
Looking for
Laura Nelson.
Who's Laura Nelson?
Well, I discovered through DNA testing. I did a DNA test,
Mm.
and I discovered a relative. Her name is Laura Nelson,
Mm.
and you can Google it.
Oh.
I had no idea. I seen her picture. She's one of the photos that they showed women have been lynched. Black women were lynched. She was lynched in 1911. And I found out through DNA testing that that's my aunt.
Oh. Okay.
And so I'm on a journey to tell her story. And I'm putting together a short sizzle. It's not finished yet. And I'm going to do some funding. And we're going to go to, it happened in Okemah, Oklahoma. We're going to go to Okemah, Boley, Texas, New York. And we're going to the Lynching Museum in Montgomery. And we're going to tell her story. We're going to tell what happened to her, how she was lynched, why she was wrongly lynched. I'm really excited about this one. This is a personal documentary. So that's the next project on my lens. And I'll have a little sizzle probably in about a week. I'm going to share that on social media. I'll share that with you. So that's the next exciting thing I'm looking at.
Fascinating. Yeah. We're gonna stuck in one group. It's called the personal documentary group. Right?
Yes.
Yeah, I look forward to that.
Yes, but I'm excited. Thank you for doing this. I appreciate the opportunity to talk about my work.
Thank you.
I'm going to run off to the exhibit. They're waiting for me over there now.
Yeah.
But thank you so much. This was
you.
wonderful.
Thank you for talking with me. Yeah. I'll bug you, when we're off the air, and then we'll talk more. But I think you should watch my film first, and then we can talk, because then you're gonna have a great idea for me. All right. So Shakfan Tech, our audience is there, and some other audience is there, and thank you so much for always supporting us and supporting me. Yeah. And what happened? I'm so sorry to hear, Bruce. Jim Crow was one of the worst period of American history. These periods need to be told. Stories. Did you see that? Can you see?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Well, thank you so much. And I am going to say goodbye to our audiences, and I say goodbye to Bruce, and thank you so much. And let's keep making films and keep watching films. And yeah, and have a great night. Okay?
Beautiful. Thank you so much.
Bye. 再见. 再见 means goodbye in Chinese. Bye.